Hi everybody, it's been a while since I reported in, so I thought it might be a good chance to say hello and let you know what I've been up to. So hope my friends and family in the Northern Hemisphere are enjoying a nice summer, and of course we've been through winter, nearly at the other side of winter here, and beautiful day in Melbourne today, and we've actually had some really nice weather lately. So it's almost 6 months since I've been put on the list, and just thought I'd give you an update as to what I've been up to. So from a day-to-day basis, I've just been trying to keep myself busy really, just trying to stay active and keep the old grey matter going as well, because it's easy to slip into that can't be bothered routine, so I'm trying to avoid that at all. So physically, honestly, it's been up and down. I think probably overall I feel a lot better than I did, at the start of the year or in late last year. Certainly before I had that procedure for the new pacemaker. But I just have good days and bad days, and I think, when I speak to people that have been through this or are going through this, I think that's quite common. It sort of ebbs and flows really in that way. So just got to take the rough with the smooth and see that out. But what I think I've become better at though is listening to my body. So, I've always been very active and found it very difficult to sit still and not do anything and actually try and relax. And I've had to become better at that. And most days, although not every day, but often I'll take a bit of a break during the day and have my little siesta. Be that just sit down, watch a bit of TV or read a book, or sometimes have a little nap. And that seems to make me feel a bit better to get me through the rest of the day. One of the barometers from a physical perspective, which I'm sort of been measuring against, is actually my weight. So by around about Christmas time last year, maybe a little bit earlier than that, but let's say Christmas time last year, I got down to as low as about 63 kilos, which for me, I look like a skeleton, really withered. So one of my focuses has really been trying to put some weight back on, and obviously that's not going to McDonald's and eating donuts every day. That's about doing some exercise and eating properly. My body is working so hard just to keep me alive that it uses so much energy to do that, between that and anxiety, that's where the weight loss came from, and also inactivity. So really for the sort of 2 years prior to the end of last year, I really wasn't doing much because I was so terrified of my heart going into some horrific abnormal heart rhythm, which it did frequently. And so that sort of put me off doing much really. But I have started to regain that activity a bit. I'm certainly not running marathons and doing anything crazy, but I'm just becoming a bit more active and able to do just a wee bit more, which is obviously helping. Anyway, this morning when I weighed myself, which I do every day, I have to, I was just under 71 kilos. So, in those, where we're at sort of say 8 months or so, I have managed to put on, around about sort of 7 kilos, which I'm really quite pleased about. And most of that is regaining muscle mass, which is great. And that's obviously going to stand me in better stead for when I do get my heart transplant, because the stronger you are going into a procedure like that, the better the outcome is going to be and your recovery. So I've been working with an exercise physiologist, and she's given me sort of a routine that I do about 3 times a week, but I'm also doing a lot of incidental exercise as well, just picking up this and moving it there, and the usual day-to-day stuff, washing the car, for example, washing bikes, which are activities that you guys, most people wouldn't think twice of doing. But to give you an idea, if I was to say get up in the morning and let's say wash a car and go around the block for a walk, that would be me absolutely done. I would have to have a lie down probably for at least an hour and try and recharge my batteries, and then I might get sort of a similar mileage, I suppose, in the afternoon. But by around about 6 or 7 o'clock, I'm absolutely exhausted. And I generally go to bed really early, so I'm normally in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock, usually asleep by 9:30. Sometimes sleep really well, sometimes don't. Invariably, I'll wake up in the middle of the night at some stage. And when I do wake up, my mind goes straight to the heart transplant. So I often kind of lie awake for a little while, wondering when that phone's going to ring, and just generally contemplating stuff, which isn't very good. So I've been trying to do a lot more, mindfulness, I suppose, in that way, to try and calm my mind down, slow my brain down when it does wake up in the middle of the night. Anyway, often I will sleep pretty well, and I'll generally wake up at between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. I've always been an early riser. I'd rather get up. I'm not one for lying in bed, so I just get up and get on with it. But the offset of that is that sort of by lunchtime I'm pretty well exhausted and need a little nana nap. Right, so I think that covers how things have been going physically. How things have been going mentally. Well, again, probably the same really. Good days and bad days. The people I've spoken to that have been through this process, and there's a few, they all tell me the same thing, and that is that this waiting part is the hardest part. Once you get the call and things are underway, obviously there are other challenges, but that bit's out of the way and you're on the journey then. So like I just said about waking up in the middle of the night and my brain automatically going to think about, all of these things, that will be a hurdle that we'll get through once that phone rings. So yeah, good days and bad days. Certainly my anxiety has been better, but I think that is obviously correlated to how I've been feeling physically. So if I feel physically okay, then mentally I feel a lot better. Yesterday, for example, unfortunately, my heart went into an abnormal rhythm, which isn't like it used to do, where it makes me feel terrible. I can still feel it, but it doesn't make me feel like it used to, where I needed to go and get it treated at hospital. And that's because of the procedure I had a year ago. So, but nevertheless, unfortunately, I can feel when it goes into an irregular rhythm. And I've been doing really well. I hadn't actually had one since the 2nd of August. And the reason I know that is I have a machine at home that connects my pacemaker to it. So it downloads the information and it sends to the hospital. And they gave me a call and said, look, yeah, your heart is in an abnormal rhythm. Don't panic. You're all good. And the last one was the 2nd of August. So where are we at now? Sort of like the 17th or something. And for me, that's been really good. So I've had a couple of weeks where my heart has actually been beating normally all the time, which is a good effort, really. And again, you guys are probably going to go, oh my God. But, it's all relative, right? So a couple of weeks ago, I went for one of my regular checkups at the Alfred Hospital and met with a new cardiologist. And they tend to rotate, when you're on the heart transplant list, they tend to rotate the cardiologists that see you, and they do that on purpose, just so that everybody gets to meet you and has an understanding of who you are. Because as you can imagine, when this all does happen, there are so many people involved in your care that they all want to sort of meet you and get to know you a little bit beforehand. So the guy I met this time, lovely fella, lovely doctor, and he described me as a green banana. And I had to ask him what his analogy was referring to. And it was quite interesting because we were talking about my overall health and where I'm at, and, where I'm sort of on that scale of needing a transplant. And obviously he said, look, you need a transplant. He said, but you're a green banana, meaning that you're not a brown banana, meaning that when you get to be a brown banana, it's probably too late. you've probably gone too far. Yes, still you can have a procedure and survive, but it could be a lot harder to recover from. When you're a green banana, you know, there's certainly you're still sick, but you're not completely compromised. You know, your body's not completely destroyed. You're still able to do stuff as I am. So I thought that was a good analogy, and I've been calling myself a green banana ever since. So much to people's confusion. I guess that's kind of it, really. As a sort of summary, good days, bad days. Sometimes think, will this ever happen? Other days think, of course it will. I think these are all natural thoughts. I'm still seeing the psychologist as well. She's been amazing. So we're working through quite a lot of good stuff there, and it's certainly been of great help to me. But just before I go, I just wanted to shout out to a guy that I met in the clinic a couple of months ago. I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning him. Justin, if you're listening, he was born with a similar, not the same, but a similar heart condition to me, and had waited for 2 years for his heart transplant, which I'm absolutely over the moon that he had it about 2 weeks ago. And he's doing very well. His recovery's going well. He's still in hospital. But I just wanted to give a shout out to him and just say, you know, we're thinking of you, and it's a sort of almost a bit of a band of brothers situation, really. So he's looking out for me as I'm looking out for him. So it's quite nice. So I'm wishing Justin a continued recovery and getting back to, not getting back to, but getting to enjoy his life with his new heart. All right, I'm off. Take care. See ya.